Great. Well, we'll get started. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. We have a large number of people registered and a relatively small number of people who've joined so far. So it may be the case that we'll have a few people who are joining, but let's get started. In the meantime, my name's Christy Newman and I'm Associate Dean of Engagement and Impact for the Faculty of Arts, Design and Architecture at UNSW. This workshop series, as you've heard my introduction before, is a brand new initiative and collaboration between UNSW and the University of Wollongong, which we've been very excited to offer over the last few weeks. Super interesting and useful skills that Emma and Armin have been introducing to us. I'd like to acknowledge that I'm joining from unceded Gadigal land today here in Newtown, which is where I feel very grateful to live and do a lot of my work. And I hope that everybody, if you feel up for sharing where you are joining from, which lands you're on today, that's a really wonderful way, I think, for us to recognise that we are on country that was stolen, and much work is ahead in ensuring that we are addressing that in more robust, honest, and meaningful ways moving forward. I'm going to hand over to Emma and Armin, and I would like to just really thank Emma for contributing to this this series, despite dealing with significantly ill health, and also today a brand new Great Dane puppy who is on the bed and may be contributing to this workshop in wonderful ways, which I'm actually very excited about. That's wonderful. There is going to be breakout rooms for this session, depending on whether you're on a Mac or a PC. So I may be a bit disappearing, making sure that people have been allocated to the right room. But I hope that you all enjoy it. Just want to also say we will be sending out an evaluation form for this series at the end of the series. There's one more to go. Please do fill it out. We really need that feedback to know whether or not this has been useful, what other kinds of topics we might cover in sessions like this or different. Yeah, we really value that that feedback. I think that's probably all the things I wanted to say. You can put closed captions on down in the bottom in the menu. Let us know if there's any issues with that. And I'll hand over to Emma and Armin.
Many thanks, Christy, and apologies again for not having my camera on right now. I'll put it on once we head into the breakout rooms, because I'm broadcasting from bed with a wiggly puppy. So, I mean, would you like to start clicking through the slides? Okay, so we're covering video editing hacks today. Hacks may be a little bit of a misnomer because we're really going to be covering video editing basics to help those of you who are very new to video editing and would like to learn the basics. And so you'll need some footage to work on for this workshop. You'll need some footage to play around with, and we'll lead you through it. There's a few different options. If you attended the pre-recorded video pitch Hack Your Practice session, you may have a version of your video pitch to start editing. We can share the links to that workshop at the end if you would like to revisit it or visit it for the first time. The other option that we've arranged is some footage that Armin has shot, which needs a lot of editing work. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Armin. So if you don't have material yourself ready to edit, you can download Armin's very short bit of footage that I posted in the chat. You can download it from Dropbox. You may have something completely different to some of your own work already that you would like to edit. And as long as it's sort of not too long, that's completely appropriate for you to edit during this session as well. Next slide, please, Armin. Okay, warning one. Can you Yes. So if you are using your own footage in this workshop, please make a copy of it first, in case things go horribly pear-shaped, which they inevitably do. We don't want you to lose your original footage. So if you're working with precious original footage, duplicate it first. Okay, warning 2. Clicking through. Thank you. Warning 2 is this session is focused on video editing. Now, if you're working on your own clip and it has very poor audio and very poor lighting, we can show you a few tips to bump those up a bit, improve them a bit, but there's only so much you can fix in post, as they say in the biz. Please don't underestimate the importance of getting your sound and lighting right in your raw footage, because there's really only so much we can help you with if you're dealing with your own footage and the audio is very poor and the lighting is poor. Next slide, please, Armin. Okay, so if in this session, we're going to split into 2 groups. I'll be working with Mac users and Armin will be working with Windows users. If you are, you're an Apple obsessive like I am, you can be editing footage on your iPhone or your iPad, but for this workshop, please use your desktop or your laptop computer. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is just a reminder, and I'll paste the links again in the chat at the end, that you may wish to revisit or visit for the first time the recording of the home studio hack session that we presented a couple of weeks back, which will show you how to get those basics like good clear audio and good lighting. Next slide, please, Amin. Okay, we've covered this. So here's me looking, and Armin, both of us looking a little disconcerted in this image. Just a reminder, we're about to set up breakout rooms. You have the choice of joining the room that you want. If you have a Mac, come to my room. And if you have Windows, come to Armin's room. And I think that's, let's go back, Armin. Or we can stop the slides and I can open the breakout rooms unless there's any questions before we get going. Okay, so let's start the breakout rooms. One's called Macs, one's called Windows, and we will see you in those breakout rooms for most of the rest of the session, and we'll reconvene briefly at the end.
Emma,
yeah.
Just, sorry interrupting you. Have you enabled the option that anyone can choose which breakout room they can join?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so yeah, you will have the option, and yeah, based on the option you can choose Windows.
And I mean, we don't have a time. I haven't put a time limit on the breakout room, so we'll just have to watch the clock. The first thing we're going to do is create a new movie. So there's 2 ways to do it. You can click on the Create New plus button, or you can go up to File and Create New Movie. So let's go ahead and create a new movie. Everyone got that far? Awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do now is import some media to start editing. And again, iMovie's great because so much of it you can do with dropping and dragging. So the 2 ways to import media, and media can be still or a bit of footage. And today we're going to import a bit of footage. So you can either go up to File and Import Media and search for it on your desktop or wherever it is that way. Or what I'm going to do simply is drag Armin's lecture footage into the timeline there, and you'll see that it appears up in my project media section. Trying to be able to see all of my iMovie. Okay, so has everyone got a bit of footage into the timeline of this new movie we've created?
Sorry, Emma, it's Jan here.
No need to apologize.
I'm having trouble navigating to the file. It's just coming up like Macintosh HD and then...
Okay, so is it on your desktop?
Oh, no, I didn't save it to the desktop. I
Okay,
could do that and make it simpler.
Drag it onto your desktop.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and then you just drag and drop it into this section. So I'm going to get rid of it. I've got it on my desktop and I'm dragging it just into my timeline and it appears up here in the project media section. Okay, everyone got that far? So awesome. Thanks, Valentina. The best thing for me, because I'm working on a very small screen, is if you don't mind just enabling your audio and shouting out, because it's hard for me to see the chat at the same time as being able to see my iMovie window. Alrighty, so we've got some audio. We've got a piece of media here. Now, up here in this section, this is where all of the media that you're going to use on this project can be found. And can you see the way there's a little white line? You can do it down here in the timeline. You move it back and forth and you can see it's called scrubbing. You can travel through the clip, and you can also do it up here as well. And so if you've got a clip with a huge amount that you definitely know you don't want to use, you can use these little arrows up in the media section to shorten it there, and so that you only drag in that section, and I'm just duplicating here. And I'm going to Command Z to undo that. This way of bringing down just a small amount of your media is one way of doing it. Another way of shortening it is just to drag like that. And you re-drag it back and there's the full clip again. Is that making sense so far?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So and again, I'm going to assume that I'm just going to make the assumption that most people here are absolute beginners. Can you see that we have at the top, we have the image, and at the bottom, we have a blue section. Does everyone know what that blue section is?
Audio?
Yeah, that's the audio. And so in our timeline here, we've got the visual and we've got the audio down the bottom. Now, one thing that you can do with the audio here is if it's a bit low, you can drag it up using this line. You can get rid of it completely by dragging that line down, or you can boost the volume by dragging it up. Can you see how I've made those sound waves become a lot taller and they're starting to reach the yellow zone? Is everyone able to do that?
Yeah.
Now, the warning here is that it's not actually letting me drag it up too high, but if you're trying to boost your audio and you drag it up so high that you start seeing little red peaks, then that's going to cause the audio to distort. Just quickly too, if you head up to this section called settings, you'll see that you have the option of expanding your timeline so that you can engage in more precise editing, or you can contract it. in the contracted version. This is useful if you're jumping around between lots of different sections of a clip. But if you want to be doing precision editing, you might want to have it expanded all the way. And for what we're doing at the moment, a sort of midway point is probably best. So I might bring Armin's audio down a little bit because it just seems like it could be a little bit too high. Generally, you go for as high as you can without hitting the red section, which means it's going to start distorting. Okay, so just out of interest, who in the room is using Armin's clip and who's using their own material? Just shout out would be awesome.
I'm using
I've
my
got my own.
Okay.
It's Jan here. I'm using Armin's.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's look at different things we can start doing. I'm going to show you some basics, and if we get through those quickly, then I'm more than happy to take requests. So we've imported our media. We've learned about what the two sections of the timeline do. How about we look at splitting the clip so we can start getting rid of the things that we don't want? So if we're looking at the footage here of Armin's, what's the first thing that strikes you as potentially needing to go if we're going to split the clip and start taking bits out?
Is there a duplicate? It's a bit hard to make out. It's Jan. Is there a duplicate slide?
No. There's
No,
not
no.
a duplicate, but look here at the start. I'm going to play it.
Est.
Oh, there's no sound.
Well, yeah.
Est.
Est. Oh, there's a sound then nothing.
Okay, so in today's lecture.
Okay, so the first thing that we see here is that there's him saying test and then him pausing before he before he launches into his lecture. So what we're going to do is split the clip so that we can get rid of that first part because we don't want to have that there anymore. So there's a few different ways to do it. Again, if we open it all the way out so that we can, it's probably a little bit far. All right. So one way of doing it is just to take this and drag it to where Armin starts speaking.
Okay, so in today's lecture.
Okay, so we've got another way of doing it. So we've done the drag method. Another way of splitting the clip is to click on it. So we've got this white line now. And then if you right click on that right line, on the white line, you can see that you have an option to split the clip. And if I click on that, you can see now that we've got two sections. We've got this section and this section. And so because this is not something we want to keep in our final clip, I can just delete it. So everyone following that, you understand how to take out a section of footage?
Oh, it's Jan here. This is very exciting, Emma Jane.
Oh, good. Oh, good. And just a quick shortcut, which I use constantly, is that if you can do the same thing, but just instead of right-clicking and going split clip, you just go Command B. So the shortcut for splitting a clip is Command B, and it's much faster. And if you're, wanting to edit at speed, Command B is your go-to shortcut. So I'm just what I'm doing is just collecting those three parts and deleting them because we definitely don't want those in anymore. So let's hear how Armin's sounding now.
Okay, so in today's lecture, we are going to talk, and as you can see.
Okay, so Armin made this clip deliberately to, you know, pose some of the editing dilemmas that we might be needing to utilize. Anyone want to hazard a guess about a few things we might want to start looking at taking out at this point?
Is the volume a bit low there on part of it? I don't know if you can do anything about it, or like further over where there's nothing in the yeah, sorry.
Well, so well spotted. That was Jan, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so well spotted. There's a section. It's not that the audio is missing, it's that Armin didn't say anything when he was filming. So what might we do about that section? Anyone want to hazard a guess? Cut it. So how would we do that?
Command B.
Yeah, so we'd go, so see how, and we can make this even bigger. So if we make it small, see how we can't see where we need to cut? Whereas if we make it bigger, we can go, okay, this looks like a silence. That Armin's been silent here. So let's Command B here and pop over here and Command B here and then delete that.
What happens if you delete and then there's something weird about the way that they meet together? Okay. Can you undelete? I mean,
well, you can Command Z. Command Z just keeps undoing what you did.
Okay.
So that's the first thing you can do. The other thing I just love about iMovie is, say we deleted it and we accidentally deleted too much.
As you can see.
Okay, can you hear that didn't quite work out? I never stop loving this about iMovie. If you've taken out too much, you can just go back here and stretch it and it's all still right there.
Right.
Handy, right? So let's have a listen and see whether what Armin's saying works.
And as you can see, so
I mean, it seems okay. We might want to smooth it out later, but how about what we call filler words? So again, in the more advanced AI hacks, we'll introduce some software that takes out all the filler words for you. But what's your understanding of filler words?
Would that be like
Yeah, and we all have ones that we do all the time. So let's have a listen for Armin's fill words.
Okay, so in today's lecture.
All right, do we need okay, so? I don't think so.
No, guess not.
I mean, the thing about it depends if you're editing a whole lecture, you wouldn't want to drill down in this detail. But if you're doing a really short, punchy clip, that's wasted time. So we can Command B to split the clip and let's get rid of that.
In today's lecture, we are going.
Okay, so did you hear that other fill word?
Yeah, it said
Yeah. Now, can you see the way the sound wave, I'll make it nice and big. See it's silent there. And you can see here on the sound wave where it ends, where his ends. So I'm going to just go at the start of the Command B again, bye. Let's see how that sounds.
In today's lecture, we are going to
hear that.
Yeah, that was great.
So pretty smooth now.
This lecture, we are going to talk, and as you can see, so yeah, the agenda is.
So we may want to, at the moment, I'd want to do a lot more fiddling around to make sure that his speech flows well. But because we've got limited time, I just want to show you a couple of other things that you might want to be interested in adding to your clip. And then we can take some, I'll take some questions and suggestions. So one of the things that will make a clip look better is if you put a title in. So if you go up the top, see you've got my media, audio and video, titles, backgrounds, and transitions. So if we click on titles, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of different titles that we can use to put at the beginning of our clip. And some of them are more elaborate than others. So let's take a simple one. There's a nice simple one. There we go. So all you need to do is click on it and drag it down to the start. Now up here, very much like, say, PowerPoint, it says title text here. And I'm going to get rid of what they've written, iMovie's got, and I'm going to write Armin's clip. Click the T button up here. Everyone following that? So if I want to edit the text, I go back to the T up the top. And now let's have a look at what our title. Now, if you look, I don't know if you can see, but at the start of this blue thing, it says it's a 4-second title, which is pretty long. So let's have a look at it.
In today's...
Now, I think that title's a bit long, so I could either do Command B and cut it to make it shorter, or I can drag it back. And as I'm dragging, I can see in the top left-hand corner of that blue titles section that it is now at 2 minutes. Let's just give it 1.5 seconds and see how that looks. And to make it play, you can alternate between, you basically can use the space button to stop and start.
In today's lecture, we are going to...
Okay, so everyone following that, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So how about, since we put a title on it, we could spend quite a bit of time working on Armin's clip to get the dialogue right, but let's put an ending on it since we've already put a nice title on it. I tend to use as the ending this scrolling credits title if I need to do credits. But I could also just go for the same one that we used at the beginning or similar. Let's go to click on the title, click text. And I don't want to subtitle. It may not look great, but let's just have a look at how I'm going to make it bigger.
Yep.
Okay, so did you see the way that we'd still want to perhaps, we've got to take out some of the, wasted time at the end of the clip, but we now have a title and an ending. Now, I'm going to show you one more thing before I sort of take requests and questions, and that is that perhaps you might like to put some music under your clip or put in some sound effects. iMovie has a whole bunch. If we go back up here, we've got My Media, we've got audio and video. So up here in audio video, we have a whole bunch of built-in sound effects that iMovie offers. So here's auto close door one. Let's have a bottle cork. We've got a cartoon boing. So again, if I want to put those in my clip, I just drag them and it goes down here in a separate section.
In today's...
Okay, so, but let's say that you know, I do want to start Armin's clip with a cartoon boing, but I want to put some sort of a music soundtrack at a low volume underneath it. What I've done is I've already got a source, a royalty-free. You've got to be careful. You can't just use any audio beneath your clips because a lot of them are subject to copyright, but there's also a rich source of royalty-free music that you can get on the internet. So I've got one on my desktop called Whip, and I'm just going to drag it in here. And let's have a listen to see. We can already see from the sound wave pattern of this audio clip that it looks way too loud to be going as background music. So just very quickly.
Primary goals.
Way too loud for background music. So how do we reduce the volume of the clip, of the music file?
It's Jan, you push it down with the arrows. Like
yeah, so we bring it right down, and depending on the sound of, you know, the volume of the clip will depend on how much you want to bring it down. So it's a matter of just testing it. So let's see how that sounds.
In today's lecture, we are going to talk, and as you can see, so yeah, the agenda is introduction, primary goals, area of growth.
So that seems like a pretty reasonable mix, right? I can see it between, you know, the music's not overshadowing Armin's voice, although we can see that it gets louder just about here. Again, looking at the sound wave.
Here, and the primary goals.
So if we wanted to reduce the volume just at that point, we just split the audio clip the same way as before and bring the sound waves down so that they're more or less aligned with the first half of the song.
Introduction here, and the primary goals.
Okay, so another thing that we can see here is that our soundtrack goes for a lot longer than our clip. So if we were to export this file, what we'd find is that there is a whole bunch of time where there's just a black screen and music playing. So if you don't want that, and, you know, in most cases you wouldn't, and again, I'm just fiddling with the timeline to get it in a good shape for me to work with. And I'm just going to drag this so that it finishes at the same time as our clip finishes. So if you think that that was a little bit abrupt to end the music, you could extend it a little bit further, or you could use this little control here, which is a fade. So just show you how the fade works, I'm going to lift the volume right up so you can hear it fade. So that fades out a lot more nicely now. Just very quickly, the other thing that you might like to add, where you sometimes if you cut your clip, you'll notice that the transition between one section and another section is a little bit clunky. One way of remedying that is to go to transitions. There's a whole lot of crazy transitions here, but, you know, a simple cross dissolve, cross blur, or fade to black are generally the best ones to use. So if we use say a cross dissolve, again, you just drag it here and you can see that that transition is now in the timeline. Let's have a look at it.
Sure, you are going to and as you
did you see the
picture, you are going
see there, it sort of smooths the transition out. Now again, because we're getting close to the time limit, you've got your movie here now. Let's say that you've finished and you want to export it from iMovie. The way you do that is you go up here and there's a little share icon. you click on the share icon, and then you want to click on export file. And let's call it, give it a meaningful name. I wouldn't worry. Just make sure the format that you're getting the video and audio, because if you click audio only, then iMovie will only export the audio. So we want it to export the video and the audio. That's it. Scrub through. We can see it's 30 seconds long. I'm going to click next. It's saying it's asking me where I'd like to save it, and I want to save it to my desktop. So I'm going to click save. And then up here in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a little circle. And when that circle has completed, that means that the movie has been exported. So that was a lightning fast introduction to iMovie basics. Did anyone have any questions? These sessions officially end at 12:45, but we tend to go over a little bit longer if there's questions or special requests.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, go for it, Jan.
So just to double check, you wouldn't have to save it to the desktop, would you? Could you save it in another folder, like a movie folder or something?
Absolutely. Save it wherever you like. So as I go export file, yes, video and audio, thank you. Next, I could save it to my Hack Your Practice video editing. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm now saving it.
Yes, can see.
Yeah, so I've saved it in a more appropriate folder. And even if you save it to your desktop, you can just drag it elsewhere.
I have a question.
Yeah, great, Valentina.
So in the titles, like say I want to add like a PowerPoint slide.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Okay, so if you've got a PowerPoint slide, what you need to do is you need to take a screenshot of it. So let's say, let me just open, let me just find an example. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do is now, and I'm just putting it on my desktop so it's easier for me to find because my filing structure is insane. So Valentina, did you want to put this in at a certain point?
Yeah, maybe starting to talk about something, so give an outline of what you're going to be talking about. Or maybe like a really strong quote that comes in.
Absolutely. So I've now got a screenshot of a PowerPoint slide I want to put in. I'm going to get it and I'm just going to drag it. And let's just say I'm going to make a guess that it's going to be there. And to get a bit more precision, I'm making this timeline as big as possible. And I want to make sure.
Today's lecture, we are going to talk, and as you can see.
All right, let's say I want it to go on, as you can see.
As you can see.
All right, so I'm going to put it here so that when he says, as you can see, then you can see my image.
See, so yeah, the agenda is.
Okay, so Valentina, at the moment, it's coming in the form of what's known as an overlay, and that it's filling up the entire screen. Another option is to go up to this toolbar, and can you see I've clicked here and there's a picture-in-picture option?
Yeah.
So if I click that, then what it does is I can get it appearing in the picture. I'm just resizing it. I'll cover Armin's slide. Let's have a look now.
So yeah, the agenda is introduction.
See that?
Yeah.
Which toolbar was that you went to? I missed that.
The toolbar to put the image in, or
Yeah.
to
the image in and leaving the person in the screen.
Okay, so you click on the media that you want to focus on. So see how I'm clicking I'm not clicking down here.
Mm-hmm.
Main, I'm clicking up here on the media that I just brought in. And up the top here, it can be a cutaway, which means it's going to fill the whole screen, or it can be split screen, which would do half in half, which won't work, or picture in picture. And the picture is here and it's pretty small and it's in a bad position. So you can just like drag the corners to get it where you'd like to see it. And then we can double check.
So yeah, the agenda is introduction.
Does that make sense?
That's great.
Yeah.
Valentina, is that what you were? And Valentina, with iMovie, it's kind of time consuming, but the only way that there's other software that can make it easier to record yourself speaking to a PowerPoint demonstration, but it's a little bit more advanced. So if you just have a few slides, you just keep repeating that process. So every time you want to speak to a slide, you can just drag it in. Another thing you might want to do is change the frame of so perhaps just have Armin in this so that we can't see his slide over there. So if I want to crop this part of the video, I click up here on the cropping tool. At the moment, it's on fit, which means absolutely everything that Armin filmed in this big long rectangle is here, and that looks pretty ugly. So I might go crop to fill. And again, I can drag this until I get a better looking shape. So let's see how Armin looks now.
In today's lecture, we are going.
Okay, and you can see that I'd need to keep cropping, but something I would recommend, Valentina, is if you cut in close for yourself, and then you could have your slide come in here.
In today's lecture, we are going to talk, and as you can
see how you can fiddle around with whether you want to zoom in on your face.
Yeah.
We could go even tighter. It can look a bit odd, but
in today's lecture, we are going to
so you can just fiddle around with those components until you get something that works.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome. Any other questions?
It's Lisa here. I've got two questions. One is if I've done some audio interviews, but then I want to say use examples of the photographer's photographs or publications, can I use iMovie for that? Can I just drop in the audio and then add in the same way the photographs and images?
Yeah, so if you want to just bring the audio in only, you might want to start with like just put a background in so that you can, let's just say we put a plain black background here. We'll get rid of our cartoon boing. So then you could just drag in whatever audio that you drag in the audio. Where's my audio? So that's just my music file. And then you've got the option of we've just got music. But I want to put in, I've only got this image ready. But
perfect.
And then, I want to put something else in, just pretend this is a different image. There's some talking here. And then it comes back in.
Okay, and my second question is if I want to so say I finish all this nice little video clip and then I want to insert it into my PowerPoint, and that's just getting like a huge size. When you exported that, I noticed there's a different resolution option.
Yeah.
If you use, is there a certain point where does it diminish the quality of what you've just produced when you go down to a lower resolution, and should you use?
It does. I export at a relatively, to get it relatively good quality, and then I use another free video file compression software called Handbrake. And Lisa, what I'll do, if you're interested, and in fact anyone is welcome to email me, it's a free software. If you email me, I can send you a link to it and an explainer video to show you how to use it. And that's what you use to compress your video files for use in, PowerPoint or other contexts.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Shall we head back to the main room and see if the other guys have finished?
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, so great. Everyone can see my screen, right? Yeah, great. So when it comes to video editing, there are many different options. Unfortunately for Windows, there weren't as many options as we had on MacBook. Like MacBook comes with iMovie, which is by default installed on MacBooks, and it's pretty good for simple video editing. Windows recently, they added this Clipchamp. So I just want to make sure you all have access to Clipchamp. If you click on the search box on your Windows computer at the bottom left corner, it says type here to search. And if you search Clipchamp, you probably should be able to see it, right? If there's anyone who cannot see, it doesn't come up, please let me know.
Sorry, can you just repeat that again? I just missed part of it.
Yeah. So at the bottom left corner of your screen, click on the search box, if that is what is called in Windows, and then search for Clipchamp.
I've got that.
Yep. Is there anyone who doesn't have it? Ollie?
So while you're talking,
yes, I'm confused. Sorry, I got here late.
Oh, it's okay. So let me.
So can I get from Microsoft Store? I have a.
Oh yeah, you can get it from Microsoft Store, and let me see if I can share my whole screen.
So the university has licenses to the Adobe products. Are you suggesting they're too complicated for what we want?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think we can just use something very simple to get through it. Like iMovie is very simple, and we've done majority of our video editing with iMovie. So anyway, this is where you have to click at the bottom left, and if you search for Clipchamp, it should come up. If it is not coming up, search for video editor. And once video editor is open, it's automatically starting Clipchamp for me. But once you open video editor, it says, do you want to install Clipchamp? And then click yes, install. And once that is done, you can search for Clipchamp again. So I'm gonna reshare my screen with Clipchamp only to not get confused what is about. All right, so yeah, it's a simple interface. It's much better than video editor that we used to have before. Clipchamp wasn't originally for Microsoft, so they bought it, and you can upgrade it to use more features, but you seriously don't need any of those extra features. And it's pretty expensive. It's like $17 per month, and I don't know how much would be annually. $170. It is extremely expensive for what they offer. Anyway, yeah, you don't need any of the extras. It's up to you if you want to buy anything extra, yeah. So it comes with some templates. You can, play around them later and see how the templates look. We just want to, assuming that you have already recorded, let's say, a presentation for a conference that you want to just send it, or I don't know whether it's a lecture or anything like that, and you want to do some editing. So here at the right side of the screen, there is this plus button. If you click on it, it will open a new project for you. But we'll just wait for everyone.
I didn't have that click button on mine. I've got add folder on the left is a click button, but did anybody else not have that?
If it's not there, Chris, it should be on the top right.
Okay, I will keep.
Sorry, what am I looking for? Add folder?
No,
no.
There is a new project button somewhere.
New project.
Oh, hold on, because it's my first video. I think I have to create first video.
Yeah, you can also click on create a new video, start from scratch.
Create a new video. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the only option when it's brand new.
It's interesting that they are different. I thought the versions would be all the same. Anyway, so this is what you get once you click on start a new video or start a project. On the top.
I mean, Ruth's got her hand up.
Sorry, yes.
It's okay. I've just joined. I'm actually on a Mac, but I have to use Clipchamp, and I was just seeing if I had missed something, but I already had Clipchamp open, so I think I am fine. So I'll go get back to my box.
Great. And Chrissy, sorry, there is someone assigned in the breakout room.
Yeah, I was just trying to have a look at that. Okay. Oh, yes, I see. Great. I will go back and work out how to do that.
All right. So, so once you get here, one thing you can do is change the title of the video to not get confused later. And I'm gonna write test 10 because I've written a couple of tests before, or I can just write my bad lecture because that's what I was trying to do. And so that would be the title of my video. And now here on the left, you can drag and drop all the media that you have. So if you have only one video that you want to edit, that would be that one video, the presentation, the lecture, whatever that is. Sometimes you have a video and you want to add a couple of images, or you want to add a soundtrack. You may add a couple of files. So you can just drag and drop or click on import media. Both of them would work. And the video that we, as an example, we made ready, here I'm going to copy it in the chat again. And that's the same as what Emma shared with you. Once you go to Dropbox, you can download it. And once you download it, just drag and drop it in your drag media to import. Okay, everybody's doing okay so far? Yeah. All right, so now once you have all your media, as I said, you may have more than this video. You can either click here on this plus button, add to timeline, or you can drag your video and put it inside the timeline like this. Again, I'll wait. Okay, and now here's what you see at the bottom. It is called the timeline, and you can see there are some gray areas. One of them says add audio, and there is at the above it says add text. And you may have different layers of videos and images on your timeline. So just to simplify this, I'm just going to play this video, which is like, I don't know, 20 seconds only. No, it's more than 20 seconds. But the point is, I try to give a bad presentation about stuff. which is the title of the lecture. I'm just going to play it. I hope you can hear it when I'm playing it. Okay, so in today's lecture, we are going to talk. Can you hear my voice? Yeah. As you can see, so yeah, the agenda is introduction, primary goals, area of growth, timeline, summary. We have an introduction here and the primary goals and lots of other things. So what I was trying to do is to use filler words and constantly say am and with lots of pauses. And we don't want that because that type of presentation is extremely boring. So at the very beginning of the presentation, I'm like silent for about 5 seconds before I start talking. Okay. So it's around 5 seconds. So we don't want that as well. So how we can get rid of it, it's very easy. First off, I want everyone to zoom in the timeline. How you can do it, you can select the video at the bottom, hold down the control, and then scroll up. And that will extend your timeline. If you scroll down, it would make it smaller. And to go to the left and right on your timeline, once it's bigger than what it was originally, you can hold Shift down and then scroll up and down with your mouse, and then it would move left and right. Now it depends how you want to do it. Some people are more comfortable to be, to have it smaller. Some people comfortable to have it, bigger. Anyway, so now I can more easily see which part of my presentation, once I play, I'm silent. Oh, okay. So it's around 5 seconds up to here, right? Now I don't want this. One way to get rid of it is I select my timeline at the bottom, and then here I can trim it. So at the very beginning, there is this sign or whatever it is called. And I can, oh, it's not working. For some reason, the trim button doesn't work now. Okay, let's not trim it.
It worked for me, that one, doing the same thing. So I'm not sure why.
Yeah, it worked for me this morning when I was testing everything again. For some reason, it's not working. But anyway, there are... Yes. Oh, actually, yeah. So the other way I usually do, instead of I never trim a video, because easier way to do it is whenever I want to cut it, I use the cut button. So let's say from here, I want to cut my video and I don't want whatever comes beforehand, right? And there is this split button, or there is this pair of scissors here. You click on it, it will cut your video from wherever you selected. So I will wait for you to try it. Go and select where you want to cut it.
Armin, can I just check? We can always do undo, yes? Like
yeah, so with Control Z, yeah.
Great.
Is it? So could everyone do that? Anyone has any questions, or is clear? Yeah,
that worked for me. Yeah.
All right. So you can again select. See, I'm constantly selecting different parts of my presentation. You can select wherever you want on this timeline. Once you click, it selects different parts. And the shortcut for trimming is S. So wherever I have selected it, I can hit S. I will split my video. You can try it. It's much faster if you use the shortcut, because you may need to cut lots of things.
And can I just also ask, so split means literally to split it into pieces. You're not actually cutting and removing anything. You're just putting a break in it.
Yeah. It's splitting. It's not like copy or cut and the way we use them in Windows. Yeah. So yeah, it's split. So, and once we split, we want to remove the bit that we don't want. So these first couple of seconds are the bits that I don't say anything. So I can select that part, and you can see only it is selecting up to the part that I split it, right? And then I hit the delete button, or you can right click on it and select delete, and you get rid of it. I'll wait for you to do that. Okay, and then there is this empty space. So if you play from the beginning, it's going to be blank, and we don't want that again. So that can you can easily get rid of it. So once you go on the timeline, this bin button appears. If you click on the bin button, it moves the whole timeline to the very beginning. So I'm going to show it again. Here it is. So once I remove the part that I didn't want, it's blank, and this bin button appears. So I have to hover my mouse on the timeline, and then you click and move the timeline to the very beginning. Now, if I play from the beginning, so it immediately starts. So I don't have that 5 seconds. All right. Now you can do this to any other part of your video that you don't want it to be there. Maybe you say something incorrectly, you don't want it to be there, or there are long pauses. Sometimes in the middle of presentation, you may forget what you're saying, and there is like a 10-second, 5-second pause. You can go and remove that bit. So if you are going to end. So here is a long pause. So I will I find the beginning of it. Let's say it's here. And then I hit S to split. And I find the end of it. Let's say it's here. And I hit S again to split. And now I have that bit that I don't want it to be part of my presentation. And right click, I delete. And then click on the bin button, and it's gone. So that's how easily you can edit your video. But we can take this to some very next level. So one other thing is that, let's say in your presentation, there is a moment, either you don't want the screen to be seen. So what you're saying is correct, and you're happy with it. But whatever is appearing in the screen is not what you want, or you have forgotten, to show specific image that you wanted. So we want image overlay. We want to put an image exactly on that, like let's say 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or 1 minute of our presentation. So one way is on the left-hand side, we have stock images. If you click on it, it gives you all these images, and many of them are free, but lots of them, anything with yellow diamond, it means you have to upgrade. And again, that's not important, because what you want technically some other image for your presentation is not image from stock images, even though you may use it. But for this presentation, let me just quickly grab an image. Sorry, I'm very slow on this computer because it's not my usual computer. Okay, so if you remember here at the top left, you have your media. If you click on it, that's where we imported our video, right? And that's where we can import whatever we want. Now, if you want to add an image, you would go there and find your image. If I could find it. Oh, it's not coming up for some reason. But yeah, you can just grab an image, put it there and paste it. But for now, I'm just gonna grab something from these stock images because it doesn't matter. The process is exactly the same. So I'm gonna add this to my timeline. Yeah, so alternatively, see, the image would appear here if you drag and drop it. And then you can drag and drop it on your timeline. So let me get rid of it. And let's say I have added an image from one of the folders, and I can drag and drop it here. And let's say this is the person or the image I want as my overlay. So when I play from this moment here, then whatever I have on the screen will disappear and this image appears. So as you can see, so yeah, the agenda is introduction and then disappears. Now it depends on how you want to do it and what is what is your presentation. Right now it doesn't seem very relevant, but yeah, when it comes to video editing, it's very useful technique to get rid of things on the screen or add things that you've forgotten or you want to clarify something, or if the presentation is long and you feel like it's getting boring just with your face talking to the audience, always having an image would be a good idea. Similar to an image, you can add a video overlay. So you can add a video to your media and drag and drop it on your timeline. And then you have two videos, but the one that is at the top is always the one that is being shown on the screen. Is it clear so far? Any questions? No. Okay, and then another thing is, if I select this image on my timeline, here I can resize it and replace with my part of my lecture or with my face, or I can have it as part of the screen, not the whole screen. So yeah, that's another thing you can do, or you can add it as an extra thing. And it will be there only for the period that we have determined. So here, as I move around here, see it disappears. And how I can move it around, again, simple. I just select it and move it to the left or right. And how I can change the length of it, again, I select it. At the very end, we have this trim. I can drag, make it smaller, or I can drag to make it longer. If I want to get rid of it, right click and delete button. Okay, so if you want to try it, I'm just going to give you a moment. Oh, there's a question. Sorry, I got something back on my either your screen or mine. We'll trial through the recording later. Yes, sorry, Kim. I don't know what's the problem that you see, either yours or mine. Anyway, so this is the basic of video editing. I would say 80% of things I do with in terms of video editing is just like cutting things out of my video and adding an image. It's like 80-90% of all the things that I do. And yeah, so the other thing we can do is that, let's say you recorded your presentation and your audio, let me just get rid of this. Your audio is not as loud as you would want. Okay, so your microphone setting, let's say, was in a way that you're not loud enough, you think, or you're too loud. So how can we deal with that? Again, you select the video on your timeline, and then on the right side, you have audio. Click on audio. I'll wait for you to do it. and then you can increase or decrease the sound or the volume. So I'm going to maximize it just to show you the difference. Yeah, the agenda is introduction, primary goals, and I'm going to reduce, and I reduce it to 0, so there is no audio anymore. It's that easy. One more thing about the video itself. Again, I select the video on the timeline, and here we have filters. If I click on filters, you're probably not going to see the filters at first. It gives you a notification about the filters. Click OK, and then you will see all these filters. Majority of them are free. Some of them, again, they have that yellow diamond that are more expensive. So you can change the kind of the color, make the color more vibrant if you want. I'm going to select winter with some degree of intensity. And if you don't want it, you can go very top, select none to get
Armin, can I just ask, when you're applying a filter or changing the volume, that applies to the whole piece of video, which is one piece. If you wanted it to only be part, could you split the video and then apply it just to that piece?
Yeah. So that's what we did. So right now it's being applied only to the video that we have selected.
Oh yeah, okay.
Not being applied to this one.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, it's not showing. Yeah, so yeah, it's the only the video that only you selected. It is being applied to that. So let's just select one of these filters. And similarly, there are effects. You can check them out later. And we have adjust colors. So you can play around with your video, how it looks. And it's pretty good for a free, software on your computer. It gives you a lot for the fact that it's free. And of course, we have speed. So you can increase the speed of, the video you're talking, or sometimes, we are explaining something and we want to show people like, you got to click on this, click on that, and it's too lengthy. You can split your video and select only that part of the video that you're explaining, the process where to click. And then you can speed up. And you can go then to audio and get rid of your voice. So it would be only the process that you click on different things with higher speed. I'm not sure if I'm making sense. Yep. Okay. There is a question. Does GoChat have a white balance adjustment? I believe, in the adjust color, you should have different things. So you can, lighten up. So right now, let me get rid of this filter and the effect and color adjustment. Let me see again. Yeah, so I can reduce, increase exposure and contrast and other things. So by default is normal, or I can reset it. Yeah, if you change things and you're like, oh my God, this looks horrible, you always have the reset button to get it back to normal. I get to that. I get there a lot that I regret what I've done to my video. So yeah, it's always good to have the reset button. So these are the things about the video, and we talked about the audio. Okay, now let's say there was something you wanted to say in your lecture and you didn't say. There are two ways to add things, and I'm looking at the time. We don't have much time left, but there are two ways to add things. One is with text, the other is with audio. So to add text, on the left side, we have text. Again, I will wait for you to find it and click on it. So yeah, and you can see there are so many different types of text it gives you. It depends on what you want to select. Again, as far as I know, all of them are free, so you can select any of these that you want. So let's say I want to select this funky title. I click add to the timeline. So that's one way to add it. Or you can select and drag and drop it exactly where you want it, where you want to drag and drop it. So again, you can either click add to timeline or drag and drop it.
Does it make a difference which layer of timeline it is? So when I dragged and dropped, it went below the image that I had in the place. Does that make any difference?
It would put it behind the video if you put it at the bottom. So right
at
now,
the bottom. Okay.
Yeah. If it's at the bottom and we can see the text, but if I drag it and put it over it, then it disappears.
Okay.
Yeah. So to select your text either on the screen, you can select it and move it around, or if it's messy and you have added several things on your timeline, you can select what you want. I can select the video or I can select the text. Again, I can move it to the right or to the left to adjust where I want it. I can make it shorter if I want, or I can make it longer, the length that I want it to be over the screen. And to change the text, again, I select it on the timeline or select it on the screen here. Double click. It's not showing up. Why? Yeah, so if you double click on the right side, you see this appears. And there I have my text. For instance, I can say hello in the first line. Say yo, yo in the second line. And that's how it changed. So I'm going to give you a minute to give it a try. Okay, any questions? Nope. Again, as I said, you can make it smaller or bigger. And do whatever you want. And you may say, like, I can see it on my timeline, and it's difficult, to move it around because I cannot see the whole timeline. In that case, again, you can hold down the control button, and on your mouse, you scroll down and your timeline becomes smaller and you can more easily move the things around and select exactly how much of it you want. And then you can, again, hold the control down, scroll up to get closer and put it exactly the place that you want it to be. Any questions? Nope. Okay, the last thing is kind of cool. Where is it? Transition, graphics, text, video. Okay, so record and create. Again, on the left-hand side, we have record and create. So if you want to record your video or record your screen, this app also provides that for you. Because previously on Windows, that was a headache. We didn't have anything. But now if I click on the screen and camera, it would record my screen and also whatever comes with the camera. Let me click on it. Oh, it's not showing up probably because I shared another application using your camera. Yeah, because I shared my screen. But Yeah, that it's very easy. You can click on screen camera, or you can have camera only to record you only, nothing from your computer, or you can have screen only. So it will record your desktop and nothing else from your, not your face. And we have text to speech. So if you want to add something to your lecture, this is pretty cool, honestly. So you have different languages. As far as I know, something like 80 different languages are available. So I'm going to go with English United States, which is the default. And you have many different voices. Again, I'm going to keep it the default, which is Jenny. Voice style can be like chat, newscast, angry, sad, excited, many different things. I'm going to go with angry. And voice pitch, you can have it default or extra low or extra high. I'm going to leave it with profile. Hello. And then I write, hello, hello. How are you doing? And you can click on the preview to play.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing?
And I'm like, oh, that's too fast. So I can slow down the speech speed and go from the beginning again.
Hello, hello. How are you doing?
And I've never tried this before. If I have at the comma, it should pause for a moment.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing?
Nice. So then you can save this to media. Of course, instead of this, you want to add something about your presentation, some statistic or something that you didn't say, and you don't want to record your voice or add anything over it. You can use this and save to media. And then in the media section, it is being added. And then you can click add to timeline. And it is being added to my timeline here. And I can move it around and put it wherever I want. And then when I play, it's going to play the audio plus my whatever I'm saying. So it would be chaotic to have this robot voice plus my own voice. So one way to deal with it is I go up until the end of this audio that I just added. I select exactly that area. I hit the S button to split. And then I select my video. And that's the part that I want to volume to go to 0. So it removes my voice. And I play it again.
Hello. How are you doing?
And then it goes back to the rest of my presentation. Is that clear so far? Yeah. Any questions? Because you're almost at the end of the session. Great. So I guess that's it. And if you have 2 more minutes, I can just tell you about one more trick. I'll get rid of that audio. Here in music and SFX, you have so many free audios. And when I have an explainer video, I always add one of these funky audios to the background. You can play and see how it sounds. And I'm going to go to make my timeline smaller, go to the beginning of my lecture, and I'm going to add it to my media. Add this here. I'm going to move it to the very beginning. And when I play, it's important. Come on. I think, oh, wow. How did that happen? Okay, so now when I play from the very beginning, it adds the background music. It's too loud. I will select the background music. I go to the audio on the right side. I reduce it to maybe, I don't know, 5%. I play again. Okay, so in today's lecture, we are going to try. I'm not sure if you can hear it because Zoom may block the background music. Yeah, cannot hear it. Yeah, because Zoom is blocking my background music. Okay, one last try, and that's it. Hey, so in today's lecture, no music. We are going to talk. Yeah, I can hear it. So cool. Okay, so in today's lecture, we're going to. Yeah, but if you play it on your device, you can hear it the way I'm hearing it. But the trick is just to reduce the background music to, like, I don't know, 5 to 10%, and it becomes so much more engaging, whatever you're saying with that background music. Anyway, if there are no questions, that's it.
So Armin, I have one question.
Yeah, sure.
Just about the background music. Sometimes when I play my background music to the students, I assume they can hear it well, but when I play it back, listening to the recordings, apparently I can't hear that. So I wonder, is that, as you mentioned, that this is a issue with Zoom, is it?
No, it's not an issue. It's that by default, we all have these, what is it? Block the background noise. So it recognizes as background and tries to block it. So the trick is to go to your audio setting, to next to the microphone button, there is this arrow thing. If you click on it, at the very bottom of it, there is audio setting. Mm-hmm. And then you have to select original sound for musicians.
Okay, is it in Zoom or is it just my computer?
Oh, it's Zoom. So
it's Zoom. Okay.
At the bottom left, there is the microphone thing icon. Can you see that microphone?
Yes.
No worries, everyone. So yeah, we are at the end of session. Anyone who wants to leave, yeah, I won't be offended. So yeah, so once you go to the audio setting, you have to select the original sound for musicians. Still, it may not do a good job once you select that. And stereo, and they have added this live performance audio. I'm gonna select it. It's very new. It's still in beta version. If you have your Zoom updated. And can you tell me if you hear the music? So in today's lecture, you are going to find. Nope. I'm disappointed. Hey, so in today's lecture, if you cannot hear it, it's very likely because of my. You don't hear music, only hear my voice?
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
right.
Oh my God, this is so good at blocking the background noise. It should be, because the music is very loud here. Yeah, I'm so surprised. Anyway, yeah, the other day I tried it. It worked in another presentation I had with the background music, and Emma also had this issue in one of the other sessions, and we changed things and it worked out. But yeah, I don't know why it's not working. Sorry, I don't have a better thing to tell you. Yeah, all right. So if there are no other questions, that's it then.
I mean, there's one question from Bruce about any tips you'd have about editing strategy. So if people are talking, how short is too short? Like, do you have a rule that you kind of set for that?
What do you mean with the?
So if you're cutting back, you know, cutting out or including clips from a few different people, does it become a bit erratic maybe if you've got lots of very short clips? Is it better to, with a lecture, have some longer, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I was thinking of my own case where there's lots of ums and ahs. Am I better off just keeping them in, or would it be better off chopping them out?
Well, I used to take them out, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a long while. For 20 minutes lecture, I spent around an hour to remove all the those kind of filler words. Now I have a software that automatically does it for me, and it's not perfect yet. It messes up my lectures sometimes, but they have this inbuilt AI that recognize all the filler words and remove them for you. And I'm not recommending it because it is still so buggy. But once it becomes available, for what it does, it's extremely cheap. I don't know, it's like $250 per year. Of course, it comes with lots of other features that we have here. It has all of them plus lots of other things. But yeah, I would take all of them, and it would look all right once you take the filler words out and your words are right, back to back. It would look all right. At least that's very all right to me. And from what I know, everyone prefers that kind of speech that everything comes right after the other, all the words and sentences. But you can give it a try and see how you feel. But every time I take them out, I feel really good that I'm taking all the pauses and all the filler words out. And one thing you can do is add transition. So I have split this video and that video, these two. And if I hover my mouse exactly between them, it says add transition. And you can also add transitions. And then you just put one in. Worked. Not sure if you noticed. Yeah, it's because my video is very static. It's not clear, the transition. But yeah, you can add transition to this art. You should be clear. No, the clip is so static, nothing changes, that transition is not clear. But if you're going from one topic to another, it's always good to split your video exactly between when you're going to the next topic and add a transition and make it look, better.
Thank you, Armin. Thank you, everybody.
No worries. My pleasure. I hope it's useful. It's very useful to me.
Absolutely. It will be useful for me as well.
Oh my God. I just forgot one last thing. Once you're done, you click on the import button to download your video. Okay.
On the export?
Sorry, export. Yeah. Export at the top right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, is it saving as you're going, or is it a manual save?
Yeah, it does save as you're going.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
While we're waiting for Team Windows to pop back in, Audacity is for improving your audio quality, and that's a little bit complex. But Handbrake is the free software that you can download from the internet. Like if you just Google UNSW and Handbrake, you will discover that UNSW also has explainers for how to use it, but it's really, really simple. And Valentina, does that seem to be of some use for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing some video editing for a bit, so I was not very, very basic, but it's good to have a refresher of some of the things. And then some of the things that you showed at the end when I asked you that question, I actually didn't know. But yeah, I've been using Handbrake for years to convert my video lectures, and it's really great.
Yeah, Handbrake is awesome. And I will share, for anyone that wants it, just email me and I'll share a Handbrake tutorial that one of my lovely students made for other students in my courses. Carly, how did you go?
Yeah, good. I just had one question about the transition, which worked on the video. I was wondering, does it do the audio though? Like you put like a sound clip at the start during the title, but does it just stop and then the audio starts for the main video, or does the transition, dim the sound, and if that makes sense, transition the audio as well?
Yeah, so excellent question. It does in fact mess with the sound. And so you need to be cautious about how you use it. Like there are workarounds for, it will, for instance, if you've cut the clip so that you get exactly the audio that you want, and then you add a transition, what iMovie might do is add a bit of that cut audio back in so it's got something to fade out.
Yeah, yeah.
And the workaround for that is to detach the audio from the file so that you can control what audio can be heard in the transition.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know how to do the detached audio?
No, but I feel like I could probably work it out.
Yeah, so look, when in doubt, look for a YouTube explainer. Like, I taught myself everything I needed to know via my teenage daughter and YouTube explainers. Hi, guys.
Hi, we just finished.
How'd you go?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that was great. That was super useful. I would never have, very, very useful. Thank you. Hopefully the recordings all work so that we can keep both of them and make them both available in the recording.
Okay, yeah. So just a reminder that the final workshop in this series is on AI hacks, and we may introduce a software called Descript, which is like the ultimate AI video editing hack, but it's very complicated. When it works, it's brilliant. When it doesn't, it's a nightmare. In my group, there were requests for ways to reduce the size of video files. So if you would like that, in fact, Christy, I might ask you to distribute a link to some software called Handbrake and an explainer that shows how to reduce your video files so they're not massive and they're easier to work with.
Okay, great. We can do that in between. Yes. Has Jan is there a question?
Yes, please. This is just actually going to the video provided that was Armin doing the lecture. How did he actually get that video recording with Armin on one side and the PowerPoint on the other, like in the original video? Was that split screen thing or something?
No, that's Echo 360.
Okay.
By default, it records like that. That was the first time in my life that I used Echo. Probably going to be the last time. But that's how Echo.
Look, if you're interested in, so Christy mentioned that we're going to send out an evaluation at the end. Like, if you are interested in more sort of next level skills with, more advanced software for recording, we are, if there's enough interest in it, there are things we can offer, but we just didn't want to overwhelm everyone today because there were people who were starting from scratch. All right, I think that's it from us for today. We hope that you've learned some useful tools and hope to see you on the 28th for the final session.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.